and just, and I'll be very brief about it. But all too often in life, we get caught up on stuff and we don't realize what's really real out there. I come from humble beginnings, North Philadelphia, probably one of the roughest neighborhoods you can imagine. I've been married for 37 years. My wife and oldest daughter are only two have seen the home I was raised in. My youngest daughter to this day has never seen the house that I lived in. My wife saw that house for the first time in January 2017. And the reason for that is the area was obviously very violent, and that's not the life that I made for my children. 22-year Navy veteran, I was a Mustang, meaning coming from enlisted ranks, became an officer, got out, went into the government inspector, quickly rose to the ranks of the GS-15 in record time. But quickly, what I want to just kind of go over is that once I realized something when I joined the Navy, and that was there's a thing called a system. And that system is around us every day in life. And sometimes we negate it, sometimes we recognize it. But I recognized it when I was in the Navy. I went from a young E5, a brand new E5, beginning commissioned as an officer in 7 years, hitting every rank in between. When I did that, it kind of opened my eyes to the system. When I retired out of the Navy, I started a position. I was hired as an aerospace engineer, quickly became the director of operations in about 18 months, working for a defense contracting firm. I go into the federal government. I was hired as a junior GS-13. In 20 months, I was a major program manager GS-15. These accomplishments didn't just happen by luck or happenstance. These accomplishments happened because I don't know, at a young age, I was, for some reason, able to recognize things around me. I bring all this up because listening to Jerry and talking about his successes and his someone to be an entrepreneur, that's what it's all about, is recognizing the systems around you. So in my business, I was not happy being a GS-15. Most people would say, hey, Eureka, Utopia, I made it, I've arrived, arrivederci, whatever. But I wasn't happy. So I launched Omni 2 Max in 2009, right in the worst economic environment you can imagine. Everyone knows the market was terrible, housing was terrible, everything was terrible. My colleagues looked at me like I was absolutely nuts. They were like, Alan, how could you walk away from a cushy GS-15 job and then start your own business? Well, I did. The analogy I used was in 1929, and I wasn't there in 1929, just only read about it, was the worst economic time in America. All the people that were very successful were the ones that took risks, took chances then. Think about it. You're at the very bottom. The only way you can go is up. And that was the analogy that I used when I started my company. Writing the book, I just happen to have a copy laying around here. I'll be still so you can see it, right? Some good things about this, it became a best-selling book very quickly. 3 number ones on Amazon, entrepreneurial, small business, and fiction or nonfiction. I was number 3 on USA Today. I was number 3 on Wall Street Journal. Alice Trebek and Ben Steinberg beat me out. The only reason why Alice Trebek beat me out of number 1 spot was because he died, unfortunately, right? And so he got a lot more fame and fortune. And then I was number 73 on USA Today out of the top 150. The point being, it was the first book I've ever written in my life. And for it to just hit like that was just an amazing feat. But again, it was because I learned and understood the system involved in writing books. Right. I mean, I've seen a lot of people that write books, great books, that never get any recognition whatsoever. So I achieved all these things by applying simple rules. And so I developed 15 rules. I would suggest that everyone in life develop their own rules. But the important thing about developing rules is abiding by it. Right. My philosophy is, if you have a rule and you break that rule, then guess what? You no longer have a rule.
No, you don't.
If you have a process and you break that process, you no longer have a process. So I thought carefully about putting these rules together, and I'll quickly go through all 15 of them.
Not right now. Say that for Monday.
Right.
Say that for Monday.
All right.
I just want to know, is that your house or your office behind you?
So there's a little story behind what's behind me. What's behind me is the unfinished church in Bermuda, which
Oh,
happens to be my absolute favorite place on the planet. I think I was truly born in Bermuda, but just live in California.
we're in
Um,
Bermuda, Warwick,
this particular place is in St. George.
St. George. Okay.
Yeah, my wife and I met 37 years ago in Bermuda,
Okay.
and here we are today. So it's
Uh,
our 30th anniversary there, and we go back as often as we can.
I'll have to think about that when you're visiting Bermuda. But listen, Alan, we really want to thank you for joining us this afternoon. And thank you for your presentation. Your story sounds amazing. I mean, I can really appreciate the depth of how you've come through, the things you've come through, and the system that you've been able to conquer, manage, and achieve with. A tremendous story. We want to have you, make sure we join you with our Mondays, and we're going to run through with you over the course of the next day or so to kind of, because there's some really treasures in this book.
Yes.
Really, I can tell. Even looking at you, I can see that you've got an amazing story. Some people walk around, you see, they've got an amazing story. You've got that. We're excited to share it with you.
So for those of you, we want you to come back on Monday.
Right.
Alan is one of our speakers, as well as we're having our African American conference on Thursday, and he's speaking again. We will go through those 15 rules and give you plenty of time. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
More than welcome. Absolutely.
Good deal. So coming up,